So I woke up today, and then I was seeing in the news some Sahara reporters and I think DW sending a half-baked image. All right, as a young person, I believe His Excellency gave us this position so he would show the people of Zamfara State that any young person that tried to be better, to contribute, to participate in the development of the state would be given a chance. However, I would not forget or neglect the fact that governments, a lot of governments needs to be held accountable because they are dealing with public funds. And when people see their books, anything that is done, it has to follow due process and books. So we accept any challenge from any media station, whether local or national or international, that want to scrutinize our government, that want to ask questions. So we would answer those questions. However, the same way there is a responsibility of the government to listen to its people and this media and to be able to answer these critical questions, it's also the media has to be responsible in the things that they put out. You would have thought, if it is an image like this, that single image should be full, not half-baked. The image that I see on social media, it is half-baked, half-page. Anyone that has that picture now, go and check it. You would see it's the half of the page that was put. So they would create misconception and incite violence and try to trigger the young minds of people in the Zamfara State to react to something that is half-baked information and half-baked story. Secondly, if it was a mere social media person or a local news outlet that put out this information, then we can actually excuse their ignorance. But for an international media like Sahara and DW to put in to millions of Nigeria an information that is half-baked, that is mischievous, that is nonsensical, with a hidden agenda that we do not know what, and we do not know what. That is the reason I believe a lot of people do not even trust things that are coming out from those media stations. You would have thought for an international media outlet to have a department that assesses and scrutinizes the systematic way of budgeting, the systematic way of economic and fiscal responsibilities before they put it out there. A government that reduces government spending by percentages that are a lot, a government that saves for a better future of its people cannot be a reckless government. To put in their budget that they put out there of 19 billion naira for the purchase of kitchen and canteen equipments. Now you would have to, if somebody without full knowledge of how the chart of account system of budgeting is, on how the reporting is, they should have sent us a mail or a letter that explained this. And if we would not be able to do that, then they can take it out there. We are the ones that put in this budget out there for everyone to scrutinize and check. If you look at it on the page, if you are online, you can check the website. So now on budgeting, there is the administrative part of budgeting and the sector, and then there is the economic sector, and there is the law and justice sector. Now the reason why a book like this of budget is being put, there are codes that in your computer, if you check, you can easily reach out to some of the things that you want to. And if some financial auditors come to scrutinize your budgeting system, it will be easier. Now for the information of people that do not know, there hasn't been since 2021 to 2024 a budget that was sent by this ministry, a draft that was sent to the Secretary, to the state government, and the letter to the National Assembly by Ministry of Budget without going the scrutiny of NGF. Now it is the page 38, if you have the full document that they are talking about. If you look at that, that is a summary page of expenditure by economic code, and it is under fixed asset under the capital expenditure, and it's a proposal. Now, I have all these documents because I intend to share them with the media so you can share it to them. This is the breakdown of that code because you have program code. Now, under each program, there are certain codes that when you check them, you would see them. And then there is the admin code of it, and then the economic code of it. Economic code of it is where the expenditures mainly happen. Now, that 19 billion that they have said, they have passed page 1 without reading the summary, the table of content. Went to page 2. They did not see all this revenue that the state generated, past even the expenditures by administrators, by admin code that shows the MDAs and how they would spend their own money. Now, if they go back to page 32, they will see the expenditure of Ministry of Education that comprises about 32 billion naira. Now, under that 32 billion naira, most of the monies that we have projected under Ministry of Education are development financing that are going to come from programs from World Bank, something like support from Agile Program, support from probably NGK, support from LPRES, a lot of supports that come through Ministry of Education. That is the 32 billion that you will see there. Now, if World Bank are bringing a program, if Nigeria sign an agreement with World Bank that a program is going to take place, it is not left for the states to say we are going to do this, we are going to do this, we are going to do that. Now a framework would come that we want you to do this, we want you to do that, we want you to do that. And if you meet those criteria, you will get this amount of money. Now it is left for the state. For example, if there are things that they believe are contrary to their tradition and religion, they say, no, we don't want this. But these ones, we can allow, we want them. This is the breakdown of that 19 billion naira that they have used to. And now, mind you, the reason why I told you they did half page, there was a performance column under that. It was 0. So none of that money has been spent. One kobo has never been spent under that 13 billion that you have said. And the document is out there. Anyone could challenge, could go and check. If you look at the performance, first quarter, 0.00%. If you look at second quarter, 0.00%. If you look at first quarter and second quarter performance of that 19 billion that they have put is 0.0 now. Now you ask us, why? Because 500 million naira, 510 million naira, under that program code, the program code, the economic code to charge on that is named purchase of canteen and kitchen equipment. Now, most of these things that I'm going to tell you, they are part of this name of this program, economic code. That is the economic code that you would charge. So it's just a nomenclature. So it would show, it will make it easier for anyone to read. Now you can go back and request the full information of this budget if you want. The first one under that 19 billion naira is homegrown school feeding program. National Homegrown School Feeding Program. It has its economic code and program code and admin code. And now this is the nomenclature that goes there is purchase of canteen and kitchen equipment. It was budgeted 510 million naira. But it is a federal government project. So they did not send the money. That is why there was no charge on that. The second one, under Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, it's purchase of kitchen utensils. Now this is what they have all brought in online. The purchase of this kitchen utensils is 40 million naira for the whole of their, and this paper, I'm going to share it with you so you would circulate it and see all of it. The third one is Agile Program Projection. Now, since we are in communication, Ministry of Education is opt in doing the best for the state. You have seen what they have done with the NECO result that is coming out for most of our students. You have seen the struggle that the commissioner is trying to do so he will rehabilitate and make sure our education system is functioning very well. So now they have engaged with the Agile program heads at the World Bank and the federal government. So they are in process. Now on budget, you have to propose so that monies could be even to come in. The proposal we said that Zamfara State might be able to access in Agile program is 15 billion naira. And those monies did not come. That is part of the 19 billion naira that you are seeing online circulated. That is why it's even 0. And then in just nomenclature, it's under purchase of canteen and kitchen equipment. And then you have the establishment of zonal mega schools. Now, this is part of His Excellency's agenda. He came in and he said we have to create schools and make sure that our young people across 3 zones of Zamfara State would have access to better schools so they can go and learn mathematics, physics, and discipline. So we'll have a better future. It was budgeted 1.5 billion naira. So for each zone, 500 million naira. So now under the budget, I know the VPP process might have even started for this administration to finance these mega schools at the zone. That is 1.5 billion. And then you have renovation of smart primary school. Now what we realize in a lot of international community, young people when they grow, they are used to computer and softwares. But our children here, they are not used to computer and software, so they cannot compete with people out of Zamfara and people out of Nigeria. That is why during the budget, 300 million naira was slated for renovation of smart primary school in Gusau, and then purchase of furniture to primary and junior secondary school across the state, 500 million naira. Part of all this 19 billion that they are just shouting about trying to create mischief. And then we have the renovation of teacher training and development center. Part of the issues that our state is facing is we have a lot of teachers, but they are not qualified in a way. They need proper training. They need centers that they can go and learn the curriculum that they should teach our children in school. So 700 million naira was slated under purchase of canteen and kitchen equipment as nomenclature under that economic and admin code. And then we have the teacher professional development funds. Now we need to train our teachers. There is intervention that will come in, and then there is monies that the state will spend. It was slated 800 million naira for that and under this. That gives you the 19 billion 350 million naira that is getting circulated in the media, so they would create mischief. Well, for your information, you have to dig harder. This is a government of people that have commitment and patriotism for their people. A government of selfless individuals that stopped what they do and the businesses they do to come and invest in the Zamfara State. So we would be better. We cannot allow the Zamfara State to be Z anywhere. That is why when you look at it, Zamfara is getting at the higher table now. You will see Zamfara number 1. You will see Zamfara number 2, number 3. And if they do not have this department of scrutinizing this document to have a better information, I would direct and advise the Sahara holders and then the DW holders to go and please train their people so they will be able to understand these fiscal policies that we do. Now, on the mischievous people on political side that say it is for the government house or governor's office to do most of this thing, that is the reason why I arranged this information. Now, in 2021, the office of the governor spent 2.1 billion naira for the first quarter and the second quarter. 2022, they spent 2.1 billion naira, office of the governor. 2023, they spent 1.3 because at the end of the day, there was 30 days that a new government was sworn. They wanted to all do that, but it was not allowed. Now, a government that generated 158 billion, the office of the governor, even through with the security things and what have you, spent 1.8 billion. That is lesser than all the administration, all the years of previous administration. But now you talk about government house. In 2021, the previous administration spent 8 billion in government house. 8 billion. Now it's left for the people of the forest to go and ask them, what did you do with this 8 billion? In 2022, they spent 4.5 billion. In 2023, they spent 3.5 billion. Now this administration on the government now we spend 3.2 billion. That is lesser than all the amounts they have spent in government and they have spent in governor's office. So we are people that are, to be very honest, please, you should show some respect and accord some respect to this administration. You cannot go on media and be bringing hearsays and things that do not even stay. If we are to scrutinize your books, nobody would be respected amongst you for the past years. Because there are a lot of things that have been going on, especially with budgeting and appropriation, misappropriation in the Zamfara State. Even with the contract, we have a lot of litigation.